Nonetheless, let's get right to it. Joining us now is the back-to-back NFL MVP. He's a man who every single move he makes is judged and ridiculed, coming off a loss against the New York Jets. Can't believe he's here. Everybody told me he wasn't going to show up. Everybody said this guy won't sit in the pocket and answer questions after having a bad day. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah!
What's up, dude?
I love this show, man. Doesn't matter what happens the previous week. I really do enjoy this show.
Yeah, well, we enjoy you coming on. We've enjoyed the ride that we've gotten to take the last couple of seasons. There is always going to be a hiccup in a season. There's going to be a downfall. There's going to be something that doesn't go perfectly. This season, you guys are 3-3 right now. In last weekend against the New York Jets, you guys suffered a loss at home, 27-10. The world seems to be burning down around you, but I couldn't help but go back to a quote that you made after training camp last year when the New York Jets came to town. We said, what was it like practicing against the New York Jets and meeting Zach Wilson? You said you liked Zach Wilson. You thought he was a good game, a good player. You thought the Jets were about a year or two out. What did you experience against the Jets on Sunday that made you say, you know what I said a year and a half ago, probably accurate? And what was it about the game that you can take away into next week, Aaron?
Well, they got a lot of good players. They got good schemes, good players. They added to their mix since we played them last year. They added, obviously, through the draft and a couple of guys in free agency that can really play. They got a couple guys that can really cover. They got veteran leadership on the back end. They signed Whitehead, who's a good player. They signed Joyner, who's a good player. Veteran guys who played a lot of football. Obviously, the guy in the middle, Mosley, is a really talented player. They added Quan next to him. D-line is stout. I thought they had a good plan for us. A lot of twists up front that we just didn't handle very well. And then, real stud young corner out of Cincinnati, I believe, Gardner, who's who can really play. And then offensively, they added some weapons. They got a good runner. Zach is going to be a really talented guy in the league for a long time, I believe. Wasn't a great day throwing the ball for anybody, but they made obviously more plays. They blocked a punt. They blocked a field goal. We just kind of had a dud of a game. So I don't know if there's a whole lot you can take with you. I will say, there's a lot of people. If you're looking preseason at the NFC, 4 teams for sure in the conversation: San Fran, LA, Tampa, and us. Right? And those other teams, obviously, we thought Philly and Dallas were going to be talented, and who else?
Vikings.
Minnesota, of course. You knew Minnesota was going to be good. But those 4 for sure were talked about. All 4 of us are 3-3. So I don't think there's any panic in any of those 4 places.
How good did that feel to look up all their records and be like, okay, all right, okay. We're still in a good spot. Is that a real thing that happened?
Well, I knew where we were at, and I obviously follow the league that I play in, so I knew with a loss by Tampa, they were to 3-3, and LA beating Carolina, I believe, went to 3-3, and San Fran got beat by Atlanta. Both teams are 3-3. So I knew where we stood, of course, but I wouldn't expect any panic at those places. They got good leadership in place and solid head coaches that have won and know how to win in this league. But this is, the point of the season. Once we get into November and December football, where teams start to separate themselves. I don't think it's necessarily happened yet. There's teams that have maybe jumped out a little bit, but there's a lot of football left. We have 11 games left now. The bye week's coming to play, and then for us, we have a Thursday night game coming up next month, which gives us 2 in 1 week, and then nice little mini bye. So there's a lot of football left. Obviously, we got to play better. I think that's understood by everybody. In all 3 phases, but there's definitely no panic.
In your post-game presser, I know you mentioned something about possibly simplifying some things. What the hell does that mean?
Well, that's what LaFleur said. He doesn't know what that means either. Just to follow up on what AJ said over there.
Just trying to get on the same page.
We all would like to know what that means.
Yeah, me and Matt are feuding for sure right now.
That's what it sounds like. I heard that. Yeah. I heard he said, fuck that guy. He's talking about plants and stuff. I don't know what that means. No, what does it mean, though, you think?
Listen, that was part of a long answer about a lot of different things that I was combining. But at the heart of it is execution. And the most important thing is executing the plan and scoring points. And what I mentioned in that, which probably won't get any headlines because it doesn't fit any type of narrative that is out there about a 3-3 team, is is how hard the coaches do work and how the plan, comes together each week with a lot of study, film review, self scout as they put together, their 20 some odd runs and more than that passes that they install from week to week. The point was that if we're not executing those plans, which to be honest are not the most complex things the majority of the time, then the only slight reaction might be to even simplify things even further. And it doesn't mean less motions or less checks line scrim. It just means let's make sure that these guys can handle what we're doing. It was really an alert for our players. Like we need to lock in a little bit more and simplify things in our own mind. Even the most complex plays can be simplified in our mind to the simple things we have to do on that play, whether it's a certain step we got to take or body language we got to use on these plays, and we just got to be better at the details. I think that's the real thing I was trying to stress is the details have not been good enough. We've had multiple plays where 10 guys are doing something right and one guy isn't, where 9 guys doing it right and 2 guys are not on the same page with communication. So that just stuff can't happen. And then there's little things, just very fundamental things that we kind of messed up on. They ran a number of line twists. There was not a lot of pressure in the game. They brought just a handful of pressures, and that was kind of their plan coming in, to challenge us on the outside with some man, and then to play to try and take away the RPO game. And we just didn't really handle some of the simple things very well. So we need to simplify our own game, both fundamentally and execution-wise. And again, it's not anything against the staff, because those guys put a lot of work into it. They care about it a lot, and they try and detail the plan to us as much as possible. But at some point, it's got to be the accountability's got to fall on the players to go out and execute.
That's what that means, LaFleur. Fucking A, dude. Seriously, figure it out, dude. Just figure it out.
He's watching right now. He takes a little lunch break, and he's a big fan of the McAfee Show.
Well, we appreciate him watching along. We hope, he can get back to happy press conferences after games as soon as possible. I would like to talk about the team that you have, because each year is its own journey. Each team is its own team. Could you have ever imagined, though, in this post-Davante era, because this was the big conversation in the offseason, Davante leaves, he's your number one weapon. You had targeted him, I think, like 60% of the times or 70% of the time, maybe even 80% of the time in certain things because of the connection that you two had. Davante leaves and goes to the Raiders. Did you expect, and I don't know what your expectations were going in, I probably should have asked you and been a better journalist, but did you expect to have these types of growing pains with this crew? New group, younger group, still trying to figure out what your offense is going to look like? Did you expect this going into the season? And how far into the growing pains do you think you are right now?
Pretty far, hopefully.
Yeah. Amen.
Listen, I knew there was going to be growing pains, but I also think, that maybe there's certain biases that come into the league about certain teams, and we forget the parity that we have in our league. Every single year, there's an attempt at parity based on the schedule, right? You know how the schedule works. There's now 3 extra games outside of the 6 in your division and the 4 alternating against the other 2 divisions. You play where you finish in the division. So we won the division last year, so we play the other 2 division winners in the NFC, and then we play a division winner from the AFC as well. So that's the attempt at parity, right? To always have some semblance of turnover in playoffs every single year. That's one. Number 2 is we've played 2 good football teams the last 2 weeks, and I know we were expected to win both games. We thought we were going to win both games, but the Giants look like a pretty real team, I would say, right? And our win against New England a couple weeks ago, that looks a little better now after they went and shut out the Lions and then had a dominating win this last week. The league is stronger across the board. Maybe that's one way to say it. The other way to say it is the difference between winning and losing is so minutely thin. A team like the Jets, who have always been the Jets or whatever, that's kind of the moniker around them. That's not the same old Jets. This is a good football team. They're very well coached. They got good players. They're 4-2 for a reason. Now, who knows what they're going to finish, but they're playing well. The Giants are 5-1.
Good team.
And just beat Baltimore. So, who's was forecast for the season as one of those teams that are going to be in the mix in the AFC, right? So it's not like we're playing a bad team. Now, we don't expect to lose ever by 17 against anybody at home. So obviously that wasn't our best performance. But the difference between winning and losing is razor thin, and for us, our margin of error is thin as well. So we got to find a way to create some more turnovers on defense. We got to do obviously way better on offense. We started the game so poorly. Our defense had 8 great possessions to start that game, and we couldn't give them any type of advantage so they can play a little bit more one-dimensionally, and that's that's definitely on us.
Your special team's got to figure it out too. You know what I mean? Can't give up a block punt for a tud, especially in that type of game. They know that. They'll hopefully grow from it. But the growing pains, it's interesting to kind of watch because you see you start to develop like a little bit of a connection. And then it's like, a play that would have happened maybe last year, for whatever reason, you're on the ground now out of nowhere. It's like at some point we all assume it's going to get clicking. It's nice to know that you're thinking the same thing. Ty, your question for Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, I appreciate you always coming on here and kind of just, cooling the masses because on Sunday everything's burning down and, being 3-3, like it's nice to get a little perspective and remember that. So I appreciate that. But one of the big things you talked about a couple years ago when there was, the rift with management or whatever is how you didn't necessarily want like a final say in personnel, but you just wanted to feel like you were being heard. With the trade deadline coming up and obviously Randall getting hurt and being out a couple weeks, that's kind of a kick in the dick with the way he's been playing. But is this the type of situation where the front office will maybe come to you and say, hey, are there any areas that you'd maybe like us to shore up or be aggressive to try to go and get guys? Or is that not really where your head's at right now?
No, my head is there for sure. It's always there, Ty. But it's not just Randall. Christian's obviously dealing with a hamstring. Sammy, hopefully getting him back either this week or next week, but he's been out for a while. So we got to get healthy, number one. Number two, since a lot of those conversations happened, the relationship between myself and management has definitely improved.
There we go.
Yeah.
And Leah, it's not a new revelation that I'm sharing here, but
Okay.
but Brian and I have a real good relationship, and we communicate often about a number of different things, not just personnel stuff, but pulse of the team and direction and mindset and energy and how everybody's kind of fitting together. So we've had conversations. I trust that they'll be in the mix on certain guys that they like. As always, it comes down to need, price, cost of those certain players. But I know Brian's going to do what's best for our football team. And if he feels like adding a guy or two to the mix, then I'm sure he's going to try and make that happen.
Chiefs just cleared $3.455 million right before the trade deadline.
Yep.
Just want to let you know that happened. No big deal. Competition against you're watching this. I don't know. Go ahead, AJ. Your question for Aaron.
Good old deal.
Aaron, are defenses around the league doing anything different to try to? We hear people talk about bend but not break, and you can get all the yards you want, but they're not going to let you in the end zone. Are they doing anything different this year? Like around the league, like certain QB numbers at times are down compared to other times. It feels like just early on in this season.
Points way down, Aaron. Points are way down right now. Like 500 and like
100 less touchdowns.
100
this year
less
versus-
points this year versus last year.
Yeah, change the rules again for you guys.
2 years ago. Way down. Points way down.
Then they're going to start calling a few more illegal contacts down the field. I haven't seen a lot of those.
Point
going
of
up.
clarification, those.
Yeah, clarification. Listen, it's the cyclical nature of this game. The defense that's in vogue right now is this defense that plays a lot of combo coverage. So it's a lot of quarter half stuff or just straight quarter palms coverages. There's less one high stuff. So there's going to be an emphasis on running the football a little bit more. That's why I mentioned the fullback position, having a rejuvenation possibly, as you're seeing more teams that will need to get in 21 personnel, 12 personnel, and run the ball effectively to try and get teams out of these shell coverages. When you're running the football, obviously, that's taking 40 seconds off the clock every play. So you're naturally going to have a little bit shorter of a game, probably, and I can see as many guys throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game, unless they're way behind. So naturally, you would expect the points to be a tad bit lower. At the same time, defenses are evolving always, and the schemes are getting more intricate at times. But I would say in general, the majority of the defenses are playing more shell coverages. A little more bend but don't break, make you go the distance of the field and think that there's going to be a penalty or a possible turnover that can negate scores and just get really tight in the red zone to keep you out of the end zone. So I think it's not surprising because that's the way when a defense has success and wins a championship and those coaches get opportunities other places. Obviously, they're taking their systems with them. When Seattle was doing it in San Francisco, that was all one high coverages. Now, the defense that won the championship last year is a two high base coverage, so that's what you're saying.
Hey, thank you. I feel like I got smarter right there.
Yeah.
It also makes us feel like we're smarter because we've been like kind of saying that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when the back-to-back MVP says it, it makes it like much more legit. But look at us talking about this.
What are you wearing today, Pat? I feel
What's
we're
that,
all
Jeff?
out of sorts. Did you have some sort of photo shoot for GQ or something? What do you? Okay, there we go. All right.
It's chilly, dude. It fucking snowed today in
Yeah,
Indy. I bet
freezing.
is it freezing in Green Bay right now? Yeah.
It's windy and cold. Yeah, it's probably in the 50s or 40s. There was some snow, I think, Sunday night that we had, which is awesome.
Yeah, you like that, right? You enjoy it. You embrace the suck, I think, is what your mindset was in years past. This is like Green Bay football weather coming right around the corner.
Well, it seems a little early this year. Usually it's like we get to Halloween and then the weather's going to really change. We're sitting here, October 18th. Seems a bit early for this weather to hit. But look, it's going to warm up this weekend. I think everybody in the Midwest is excited. We might see 60s again. So that's
Really?
really
Oh, yeah.
exciting.
70s
Beautiful
here.
weekend.
Get the sticks out.
That's right.
Let's go ahead and do that. Aaron, you planning for Halloween already? I mean, now's not the time. You just lost. Don't give that answer. Everybody loses their minds. We'll talk to you next week about it.
Yeah,
AQ,
all ball all the time, man. All ball all the
Nice.
time.
that's right. You just mentioned Halloween. That was the first time you even remembered, oh, Halloween's in October, because you're just thinking about NFL all the fucking time. AQ,
How do I top last year?
well,
John Wick and a fine at Halloween party. Come on, how do I top that?
Yeah, it's a good
legit,
question.
I mean,
Took the league down.
you look so cool with that video, too.
Sweet.
Oh, my God. Dude, you look so cool. And I think you were growing hair for 2 years for that moment.
Yeah.
Fucking paid off. Congrats to you,
Well
man.
done.
Way to go, Aaron.
Congrats to you. AQ Shipley has a question for you. I don't know if you've ever met him in your crossing, but he's obviously a massive fan. He went to Penn State as well. Go ahead, AQ.
Big fan. Hey, Aaron. I love your recall. Every time I listen to you on Tuesday, your recall of the game, not only the game, but individual plays. How many times between Sunday and the time you get on this show do you watch that film, and when do you kind of put that game to bed and move on to the next?
The game's to bed to me, honestly. Like for a noon game, a lot of times I'll watch it that night. And it depends. Matt's been good about this kind of Victory Monday New Age schedule where if we win, Mondays are a much lighter day. So then I'll watch it on my own usually. But if not, then we'll just watch it as a group together on Monday. And then I really try and put it to bed. I mean, I see that those images in my mind all day Sunday and night Sunday, whether we win or lose. I'm always running back things that happen in the game, making notes, kind of doing my own little game recap for myself to make sure that I can put the lessons down and the mistakes and the things I want to do differently the next time, and also just little notes about who the coordinator was, what they played, because it gives you a good reference point for the next time you play that system or that coordinator, that friend. AQ, you were in the league for a long time. Everybody talks, and so these coaches who are friends with people on the staff of Washington this week or Buffalo the following week, there'll be conversations around what worked, what didn't work. Everybody talks in this league, so what worked for them on Sunday, we'll probably see some more of that. So I'm making sure I'm looking at that pretty closely, and then the self scout is so vital. What I did right, what I did wrong, what I want to do better next week, what I think we should run off of certain looks, what calls I liked in the 2-minute, what calls I didn't like in the 2-minute, all that stuff. But by the time we get to Tuesday, I think it's really important to move on past that and on to the next opponent, whether you had a lights out game or whether you stunk it up.
Yeah, and we talked about that kind of setting the standard and expectation for this particular Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, because in the past, when you guys have had a bad game, the fans' job is to lose their mind. The fans are supposed to go bananas.
Hell yeah.
But your mindset, just like any player in the NFL, is like, hey, we got another fucking game coming on Sunday. Like, I understand you're upset about Sunday. I'm happy you're upset about Sunday. The expectation is that we should win. But if I'm still upset by Tuesday, that's getting into Wednesday. Then is next Sunday even something? I think that's been a cool part of this entire journey here. Now, listening to what you just said there, to AQ's question about self-scout and everything like that. What year is this, 18? What year is this for you? Yeah?
18.
I should do more research, be a better friend, whatever the fuck you want to say. But 18 years into this, are you still getting better? Are you still harsh on yourself? And at what point do you think you're going to get to the point where you're like, man, I'm tired of being pissed off at myself all the time? Does that ever happen for the way you play?
Well, I mean, it changes a little bit. I'm just not pissed off at myself. It's just a standard I hold myself to. So I expect greatness, and if I don't reach that level, then you really got to be critical of what it was, and down to each little part of those plays. Was it a step that I didn't like that I took, or was it an angle of my shoulders, or was it eye discipline, or was it just the ball that I threw, or not counting? There are a couple of throws in the game that I felt amazing come out of my hand, but I didn't quite factor in the left to right wind that was going on, and I missed one ball slightly outside of Jonesy. That I didn't really factor the wind in enough, and I missed one ball about a foot outside of Allen down the field on our second last drive I was in there by just not quite factoring that little last part in. So, I'm disappointed by that, because you gotta kind of put it all together, and if we're up against a 10 to 12 mile an hour wind left to right, I know that ball's going to move probably 2 yards outside of the target angle. So I just got to do a little better job of kind of putting that all together, especially on those two plays, because sometimes it comes down to just one play. And if I had Jonesy on that one, who knows what happens? He might be a 30, 40-yard gain. He might break a tackle and score. So, just minor little adjustments that I hold myself to that standard. But again, you got to put it to bed at some point and trust the preparation that got you there, and then just, tinker a little bit, but the preparation's got to be good enough. If it's good enough to win an MVP, it's good enough to get through a stretch like this.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little thing to rely on. And before AJ's question, how's the thumb? That was a conversation. You had that thing taped up during the week, and then in the game you didn't have it taped up. And early, because you did get hit early a lot, sacked 4 times or whatever, you fell. It didn't seem like somebody landed on it, but your hand was just skidding across the turf, and I thought maybe it raked on it a little bit. Is your thumb okay? Were you going to tape it? No thought of taping it? You like the feel? And what do you think going into the Commanders? Is it something you're going to have to deal with?
Yeah, I was taping it early in the week just to give it a little support, and then Saturday in the walkthrough I didn't tape it and didn't really do a whole lot, and wanted to go out and see how I felt Sunday in pregame before I decided to tape it or not, and felt fine taking snaps from Josh and then throwing the ball, and was doing pretty good. There was a hit early in the game, the one you're talking about, where we were in a screen pass to the right, and we had some miscommunication on the backside, and I got hit, and the natural reaction when you get hit is kind of put your hands out, and that kind of banged it up a little bit. So, it was, I felt it, but it wasn't a major issue. It's not going to be an issue. I'm still going to play.
Hey, that's good news. Go ahead, AJ.
Have you ever worn a glove on your right hand in a game or in practice? Is that something you thought about?
Other than as a joke, I haven't, no.
Why?
Those things are tacky now, man. You can sling it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just, I can't do it.
Is it a look thing? You don't want to look like that, or you don't like the feel?
Both.
Which one? Which
Certainly
one
look,
is it?
too,
Like
yeah,
80-20? 80-20 look to feel, 90-10? What is
No,
it?
it's definitely more the feel, but it's also the look. I have a specific look that I go for on game day.
Super cool.
Throwback.
Chin strap, no mouthpiece, no rib pads. AJ, you make fun of my jersey all the time, but it's
Looks great.
It's how I look.
Yeah. Hey, you're old school, man. Nobody ever talks about that whenever they describe Aaron Rodgers. You're old school. You got that cloth chin strap,
Hell
just
yeah.
waiting for a helmet, just waiting for one, not scared to run. We're not taping the hand either.
Nah.
Okay? Is his thumb still attached? It is. Am I throwing the fucking ball? I am. Let's move on. Never gets talked about that way. Let's chat. I don't want you to ever feel like I'm asking you to bury somebody. Okay? Never want you to feel that way, but your brain's big enough, we've all seen it, that you can answer however the fuck you want to answer things. Okay?
Here we go. So you're gonna ask me to bury somebody. Let me sit up straight for this one here.
No, yeah, give me your press conference answer, but I think it's a real problem if you're a fan of the Packers, which I have become over the last few years over our relationship. Ty Schmidt is as well. You paid Aaron Jones is a fucking guy. He is a guy. And now here early in the season, there's 2 different occasions where there's been a conversation afterwards where it's like, we got to get him the ball more. We got to get him the ball more. It's like, what's happening, you think? He's been paid. Normally, if you pay a guy, he's going to be force-fed a ball anyways. What is going on with the Aaron Jones experience? Because I feel like you're a massive fan of him. LaFleur's a massive fan of him. Green Bay's a massive fan of him. For some reason, it's just not ending up into, touches. What do you think it is, and how do you guys think you fix that, Aaron?
Just get him the ball more.
There it is. There it is. All right, you buried the guy.
Yeah, listen, every time that there's an L, there's any type of adversity, there's always going to be narratives that come out of it. And easy one for us is, we got to get the ball at 33 more. And it's true. When he touches the ball, good things happen. He breaks tackles. He's probably our most elusive guy with the football in his hands. He had a beautiful 22-yard run that got called back on a holding that hurt us. That would have had us inside the 15 and 1st and 10. But yeah, he's a dynamic player, and it's not like we're not trying. We have a lot of plays in the plan for him. We call certain passes just for him. We have runs designed to get him the football. We have an awesome running back in A.J. Dillon as well, who we're trying to get the ball to. But there's a lot of things can dictate how much we get the ball, and it's front, it's coverages, it's different things that we see. Again, we're not trying to not force feed him the ball. Just sometimes the way that the game shakes out, he doesn't get as many touches as other games.
So you think it's kind of being blown out of proportion? No way. What? No way. That would never happen, Aaron. That's not our.
Well, listen. I mean, like, if you're scouting us, right? If you're scouting us, what are you going to try and take away? Like, what's at the top? My
Stomp
thumb.
on your thumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby AJ.
Then your COVID toe.
Yeah, COVID.
After that,
COVID.
then what?
And then we get COVID to Aaron, because he's not vaccinated, that son of a bitch. Yeah. We get him COVID. So there's the top 3 we're trying to do. Okay, we're stomping on a thumb. We're stomping on your COVID toe. And then we're trying to get you COVID-19. And then
That's 3. 4 is we got to shave Matt's eyebrows. And then 5, we got to stop 33, right? I think that's the top 5.
Boom.
So what you're saying, though, is it does appear as if 33 is drawing some attention from the defenses when he's on the field, which is a compliment, but also a part of the predicament. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a hell of a player. Why would you want to stop him, right? You want to.
Hey, if teams though,
Good.
if they're playing too high, aren't they daring you to run the ball? Like if teams playing too high, usually like, hey, we don't think you can beat us running.
Well, we're seeing too high, but we're seeing one high situation. Like the plan that it seemed like the Jets had was, if we were in the gun, they were going to play a lot of zone coverage one high. If we were under center, they're going to play some more combo coverage in certain situations, depending on personnel groupings. Like when Big Dog was in the game in 28, they played a lot more one high to stop the run. If Big Dog and 33 were in the game, they had a different coverage scheme. If 33 and 85 were in the game, they had different ideas. So, teams are looking at our personnel groupings pretty specifically, and we obviously are looking at that as well in our self-scout. But listen, I don't have a great answer for you. Like, we left 33. We got to give him the ball. I don't know what else to say to that. Not like we're not trying.
Well, I'll tell you what. I got him in my fantasy team, and it sure feels like Connor, your question for Aaron. I don't play fantasy, but that is, you get it. Connor, your question for Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, did you see Sauce Gardner wearing the cheese hat after the game by chance? And did you also go over to Alan Lazard after the game and shake his hand for knocking it off his head?
I saw the picture. I didn't see him with it on it at one point. That defense, good defense. A lot of trash talk. I appreciated that. Enjoy a little banter back and forth. I mean, the kid's a good player. I think I got nothing against him doing that. Obviously, you win the game. That shit doesn't happen. So they won. They can celebrate how they see fit.
Yeah, I'd like Lazard, though, knocking it off, not causing a problem, though. Not getting into a full fight. It was just like a, hey, come the fuck on, dude, and then jog off. Thought Lazard handled that thing perfectly. Hell of a tud by him, too, which there could have been more. Tone has a question for you, Aaron.
Aaron, Sunday, you were hit more than a few times. How do you go about motivating your O-line? There was videos of other quarterbacks this weekend potentially yelling at their O-line and stuff like that. How do you feel the best way to motivate your O-line when maybe things aren't going the way that you would like them to?
Fear.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. That's the best way, we think.
Fear. Totally. I tell them I'm going to restrict the gift giving this holiday season. You know, I'm going to cut way back. I'm going to be skimping on the budget big time if this shit doesn't turn around. So, hopefully that's enough impetus to get them going good. But there was one hit that actually hurt more than any other, and it was part athleticism, getting out of a sack, and then I moved to the sideline and threw a ball to Bobby. And I'm cluing you guys up now because you got NFL rights to show this ridiculous hit, but it was on the Jets sideline. I threw a scramble alert to Bobby, and I took a helmet to the right thigh, and then had a really weird spin around land on my left ass cheek, and I was after the game wondering how it was possible to have a right thigh bruise and a left tailbone bruise from the same play, but I achieved it.
Hey, I promise you, we will put that play over you telling that story, and I can't wait to see that left thigh or that left tailbone and that right thigh get all banged up. When I ran a fake against the Raiders, I tried to hit a spin move on a guy, Darren Bates, good guy. I didn't successfully hit the circle button on him. He hit me so hard in my one leg that my knee bruised my other thigh.
Jeez.
Because how hard. So the next day, I had a bruise on the inside of my thigh. I'm like, what the fuck happened? How many did we booze real hard? What happened last night? And then I watched the film. It was my fucking knee taking out my other thigh. I'm like, yeah, let's not run that
Good
one.
hit.
Let's not run that one anymore. What's the week look like? What's today look like? Are you in the film just breaking down the Commanders? Excited for Heineke to get back in there? What does today look like? And when do you really dive into this weekend?
Just grinding through all of it, just nose to the grindstone.
Hell yeah.
No, you know what? I was under the squat bar today. And I gutted it out. 4 plates on there.
Woo!
Whoa.
405 on the guy.
Well, it's a 65-pound bar, so maybe a little bit more than 405.
425, the
Wow.
guy.
Wow.
I was hoping that there was a way I could take 5 pounds off it, but I guess that wasn't easy to do there.
Yeah,
But
because he's talking about a plant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a drug.
What?
No.
But I got a couple guys in the weight room who must not have seen me squat before. Dean Lowry, kind of gave me like a, hey, nice. Like, thanks, Dean. Appreciate that.
Yeah, old man still got
Northwestern guy. Very, very short on the compliments, but that kind of made my day. Put a little pep in my step. I got a Dean Lowry compliment, and now I get to do the fucking McAfee show. Like, it's gonna be a good day. We moved on.
You're 3-3. So is everybody else in the NFC, except for the Eagles. They look like a fucking wagon. Have you seen them at all? Have you seen Sirianni? Did you see him in Thai last week? He appears to be a hilarious human being. He was a great coach over there.
I see they're 6-0. They're playing really good. They got a good football team. Playing good on offense. Jalen's playing good. They got some weapons. The defense is obviously playing really, really good. We got them later in the year, so hopefully we're geared up for that one. It's going to be in Philly, which is always a fun place to play.
Well, maybe a fan will run onto the field like the team like they did on Sunday night. Some fan got in.
That was amazing.
Oh, I love it.
I saw him getting escorted out too, and I think he might have had a little bit to drink.
There he is. Hey, let's go, boys. Hey, let's get these Johns, bro. It's a good time. Oh, fuck.
Whoa,
They told me I was on the
Thought this
team.
was America. Thought this was America.
Philadelphia, original capital. Jeez. Aaron, we appreciate you, buddy. Heal up with that thumb. Can't wait to see the team continue to grow. Good luck this weekend. We'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, thanks, guys.
The book club has been put on a bye week for 1 week.
Okay.
So that everybody can catch up on how to change your goddamn mind.
Hell yeah.
The Mastery of Love.
What?
1984.
What?
And of course, the book that we're still reading from last year. Fingerprints of the Goddamn Gods.
Why?
All right. We appreciate you. Have a great week, brother. Aaron Rodgers, ladies and gentlemen.